there is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Live from New York, it is the Coffee Club with your hosts, Felix.
And once again, rising from his sickbed, Dr. Mark.
And we are here today to talk about anything anybody wants to talk about. But our topic is supposed to be more bizarre news, politics, religion,
Current events,
and
whatever suits your fancy.
whatever doesn't suit your fancy.
That's
because
very
if you don't call, we're probably not going to be suiting your fancy, possibly.
That's right, because Dr. Mark forgot his bizarre news.
Okay, you can call us at 646-595-3275. And the first thing I want to do is welcome our audience to the show. I hope everybody's good. But I want to talk to you first about a airplane. What's that?
I want to wish my son a happy birthday.
Oh yes,
He turns 30 today.
And what's his name? Jonathan.
Jonathan, his 20s are long gone now.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
my
dear
sonny.
Jonathan.
Happy birthday to you.
Of course, he's not going to hear this because
Yes,
every son or daughter, they do not listen. Anyway, so the first thing I'd like to talk about today is the tragic incidents in the air with the Malaysian airline. There's 236 people, I think, that are missing.
Yeah.
And I don't recall an airplane that supposedly crashed not being sighted.
They can't even say for sure if it did crash. I mean, it must have. It had to run out of gas.
This aircraft also had emergency beacons, and the minute it impacts or hit water, they're supposed to start letting out signals, and they're not. It's not doing that. Some people have come up with a few ideas. One, the airplane was hijacked and actually landed somewhere, and they're hiding it, and they're going to bring it back out to use for some kind of a terrorist threat. And I guess another one that are just poof, vanished like magic.
Maybe it'll be something like that new show yesterday, Resurrection. These people supposedly were dead, and now they're coming back to life. You know, maybe 30 years from now, these people from the Malaysian flight are not going to age, and they're going to just reappear.
Well, for fun seekers, maybe maybe they were abducted. Ooh, abducted.
UFOs.
Oh, talking about odd news, I want to read you something that's really funny that happened. A man submits a Naga grappling championship where the opponent farted in his face.
Well, that'll get you a victory.
After losing a bet with his friends at 22. Okay. Some guy, some idiot, on March 10th, lost a bet in New Zealand, and he had to legally change his name to arguably the most ridiculous name in history. But they don't say what the name is. See if they know who's the name.
I don't know.
Neither do I. So we're not going to
There's
bother.
the article.
Yeah, I'm not going to read the article. You want to read the article?
Not really.
Okay, then we're not going to read it. A New Jersey woman nearly had her finger bitten off during parking spot fight in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And a Subway sandwich artist chases off armed robber with a knife. A Subway sandwich artist in Seattle was able to stop an armed robbery attempt with one of the tools of his trade, small serrated knife.
I actually like the next story. Man loses 50 pounds on McDonald's diet in Colorado. I remember that from the news.
Yeah. And this one is, I don't know what's odd about it, but I guess it is. Scientists are tracking a great white shark headed for Britain, and it is set to become the first of her species to cross the Atlantic. I guess white sharks don't go that far. Oh, this is a good one. Scotland. Gardridge, a Scottish woman, said she awoke to a snake crawling on her body and bit her on her breast when she tried to brush him off. I guess he was warm and comfortable.
Oh, speaking about breast, I remember finding an article in Bizarre News last week that we never got around to discussing. You know how when you're, especially in the city, when you're in the city, and people panhandle for everything. There was a woman who was panhandling, and she didn't really need the money for food or anything. She wanted to get breast implants, and her sign said, "I need money for breast implants," and people actually stopped and gave her money.
Did she finally get her breast implants?
I don't know. There wasn't a before or after picture to go along with it, but
what a shame. Now this just happened, I think, yesterday, March 10th.
well,
that's today.
10th. Today's March 10th.
No, but I think this happened yesterday, I remember. A skydiver was hit by a plane, and now he says he wants to jump again. Florida skydiver John Frost, I think he was 41 years old, wants to jump again after he was hit by an 87-year-old Shannon Tremblay's plane. And by the way, Shannon was the one that was flying it. An 87-year-old man was flying it. The plane actually nosedived. It got caught on the strings from the parachute, and none of them got really hurt bad. So it's pretty good.
I have to read a few things from embarrassing medical exams. Now, these are said to be true, but then again, everything on the internet is said to be true. But they really are cute, and you can almost see this happening. A man comes into the emergency room and yells, "My wife's going to have a baby. She's sitting in the cab." Well, the doctor said, I grabbed my stuff, I rushed out to the cab, lifted the lady's dress, and began to take off her underwear. Suddenly I noticed that there were several cabs, and I was in the wrong one.
Okay.
No, that's just, one
That's
more,
cute.
and before we move on. I mean, there are a few of them here.
Hey, okay, listen to this one. This is a medical story. Yepon, Australia. After being bitten by an eastern brown snake while he was gardening in Yepon, Rodney Somerville treated himself by grabbing a beer. And what do you do after that? I don't know.
Okay,
He treated
one
himself
doctor
with a
says,
beer.
at the beginning of my shift, I placed a stethoscope on the elderly and slightly deaf woman patient's anterior chest wall. Big breaths, I instructed her. Yes, they used to be, replied the patient. Big breaths, big breasts, hello. Felix.
Yes.
A little.
Oh, big breasts. Hello.
A show of something there. You know.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, here's one that goes
makes
along
me
with
angry.
what.
And when Dr. Evil gets angry, Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset. And when Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset, people die!
Tell Austin Powers to shove it, will you please?
That wasn't Austin Powers. That was Dr. Evil.
Well, but that was from Austin Powers' movie, right?
Do I make you horny?
And not really. Okay. One day I had the bad news to tell a woman that her husband had died from a massive myocardial infarction. Not more than 5 minutes later, I heard her reporting to the rest of the family that he died from a massive internal fart. Talk about not understanding medical jargon.
Authorities, brothers use shovel, garbage can, pocket knife in fight. Authorities in Florida said they were called to break up a fight between two brothers who used a knife, a garbage can, and a shovel as weapons in their brawl. Big deal.
Oh, this one is funny. Oh, yeah, I thought you were done.
No, I just saw this one. It looks. A man climbs in a storm drain. This guy in Oklahoma said a man who chased a $20 bill into a storm drain ended up trapped underground for 2 days. Wasn't worth the $20, huh?
Guess not. Okay, to continue. Doctor says he was performing his rounds in a hospital one morning, and he was checking out a man, and he asked the man, "So how's your breakfast this morning?" "Well, it's very good, except for this Kentucky jelly." "I can't seem to get used to the taste," replied the patient. Then I asked to see the jelly, at which time Bob produced a foil packet that said KY jelly.
Okay. That was funny.
A nurse was on duty in the emergency room when a young woman with purple hair, styled into a punk rocker's mohawk, sporting a variety of tattoos and wearing strange clothing, had entered. It was quickly determined that the patient was having acute appendicitis, and she was scheduled for immediate surgery. When she was completely disrobed on the operating table, the staff noticed that her pubic hair had been dyed green, and above it there was a tattoo that read, "Keep off grass." Once the surgeon had completed his surgery, he wrote a short note back on her dressing, "Sorry, we had to mow the lawn."
A California man who lost $500,000 in 17 hours of gambling in Las Vegas casino was so drunk he could not remember the episode, and after waking up in his hotel room, set a lawsuit file on his behalf that seeks to erase the debt.
Okay.
How about that, huh? Too drunk to know what you're doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As a new young doctor going through his residency in obstetrics, I was quite embarrassed when performing a pelvic exam. To cover my embarrassment, I unconsciously formed the habit of whistling softly. The middle-aged lady whom I was performing the exam on suddenly burst into laughter, which further embarrassed me. I looked up from what I was doing and I said, "I'm sorry, was I tickling you?" She said, "No," with tears running down her cheeks. "No, doctor, but the song that you were whistling was, 'I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener.'" I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener, you know.
I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Well, either that or Anthony Weiner.
Yeah. California third graders caught smoking pot in school bathroom. This just happened the other day. 3 third graders were caught smoking marijuana.
Third graders?
Yeah, third graders were caught smoking marijuana in the boys' bathroom of the Northern California elementary school last week. and what the local police chief says marked the youngest pot bust he had ever encountered.
Sort of reminds me of the song Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Oh, yeah.
A woman and a baby were in a doctor's examining room waiting for the doctor to come in to give the baby its first exam. The doctor arrived, examined the baby, and checked his weight. Being a little concerned, he asked whether the baby was breastfed or bottle-fed. Breastfed, the woman said. Well, strip down to your waist, the doctor ordered. She did. He pinched her nipples, pressed and kneaded them, rubbed them together in a very professional way. Motioning to her to get dressed, he said, "No wonder this baby's underweight. You don't have any milk." "I know," she said. "I'm not his mother, I'm his grandmother, but I'm glad I came for the exam."
That's cute. What is this? In the most extensive comments about the 2012 Connecticut school massacre, the father of gunman Adam Lanza describes the struggle to comprehend what his son did. An act that couldn't get any more evil. And now he wishes that his son had never been born. Okay. That's interesting.
Anything connected with that is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
How about this barber story? Like everybody's got to have a barber story, right? An old cowboy walks into a barber shop in San Saba, Texas. Everything happens in Texas. For a shave and a haircut. He tells the barber he can't get all of his whiskers off because his cheeks are so wrinkled from age. The barber gets a little wooden ball from a cup. He tells the man to put it in his cheek and spread the skin. When he's finished, the old cowboy tells the barber that that's the cleanest shave that he's had in years. But he wanted to know what would have happened if I accidentally swallowed the ball. Well, the barber replied, "Just bring it back, like those other guys did the last few times." Well, you swallow something, where does it come out? Okay.
Where does it come out? I don't know.
But he was putting it in his mouth, okay? That's the gist of that.
Okay, well, if you swallow something, I assume that it come out.
Yeah, da-da-da-da-da.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you again that if you don't call us, this is the same kind of stuff you're going to be hearing all night. 646-595-3275. We're looking for a caller to give us a call. Yeah, that makes sense. A caller to give us a call. Okay. How about somebody chatting with us? Anybody want to do a chat with us? Anybody? Okay, now if you go on, if you can see it, the coffee club is now in the chat room.
Yes, we do. Every Monday and Friday we have a chat room. People call up and they get us.
Ha 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 ha. Guess who's in the chat room? The coffee club. We've never tried this. I don't even know how it works. Anybody know how this works?
No. You mean we actually have one?
Yeah, here, look. The coffee club. Welcome to the coffee club chat room.
Oh, that would be great for people
Who don't want to talk to us.
Well, or who are shy as far as talking on the radio.
Well, that's what I meant.
I will have to notify a few people about that.
Yes, welcome. Welcome. We have our own chat room, the coffee club. So, anybody wants to listen to us at the coffee club, in the chat room, you're welcome to, or they can talk to us, I should say. Want to tell us how good the show is, or how much you hate it, or anything in between? Just give us a call. Or send us a message on the bizarre, on the strange. Anybody watch the show Bizarre Foods?
Well, plenty of bizarre foods in Texas. You know, the chocolate-covered grasshoppers. You know,
Okay, here's the one that everybody's been talking about.
eat the rattlesnake.
That's not bizarre.
It is for somebody from New York.
All right, here, this is one. We just heard about it before, but I'm going to read it to you a little bit about it. What do you do when you've been bitten by one of the deadliest snakes in the world? Crack open a beer, of course. That's what Rod Somerville, 54 years old, of Australia, had in mind after he was nipped by a eastern brown snake in his backyard last month. After the bite, the Queensland man said he went inside and called emergency services, according to local reports. He then apparently grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat down to enjoy the brew while he waited for the ambulance to arrive. Somerville reasoned that panicking would have made it worse. I said to myself, if I'm going to die, I'm going to have a beer, he told the Morning Bulletin. Okay, and I guess if you don't panic, the blood doesn't go through. The poison doesn't get to your heart as quickly. Makes sense. I thought he was going to say he poured the beer on his wound or something, you know.
True.
Okay, Mark. We are. Oh, this is a good one. You may be wondering why anyone would want to take a one-way trip to Mars, and honestly, I wonder that myself. However, Dutch company Mars One plans to do just that, and they have received over 200,000 applicants to take the trip. Would you consider doing that? Take a trip to Mars, one way?
Nope.
No. Well, anyway,
Well, did you know, Felix? Did you know that English is one of the hardest languages to learn? I remember this from my teaching days. Because
but I didn't finish my story. I just realized.
Well, how do I know you're not done?
According to a fatwa, okay, the Islamic leaders issue fatwa prohibiting what?
It's called a fatwa.
Fatwa issued fatwa prohibiting one-way trips to Mars. The committee says participating in the hazardous trip to Mars will likely result in death for no righteous reason. This means that the unfortunate Mars adventurer will face a punishment similar to that of suicide in the hereafter. Okay, so it's against the religion to go to Mars, as far as the Islamics are concerned.
Well, as I was saying before, English is one of the hardest languages to learn. When you learn a foreign language, for Americans, you learn Spanish, French, you learn that there are certain rules in grammar and conjugating verbs. But in English, we learn all that stuff, and then we learn that there were 3 or 4 pages of exceptions. For example, words that are spelled the same but have different meanings when used. Words such as the word wound and wound. The bandage was wound around the wound. Exactly. The farm used to produce produce. Okay, simply depending upon how you pronounce it. The dump was so full, it had to refuse the refuse. We must polish the Polish furniture. He could lead if he would get let out. Okay? The soldier decided to desert his dessert in the desert. Desert his dessert
in the desert.
There you have three. One, of course, the dessert that you learn how to spell, the one with two S's, is the one you would love to eat because it's dessert. And the other one is meaning to either desert or leave or a desert. Here's another one like that. Since there is no time like the present, he thought it was time to present the present. Birthday present. Present meaning now.
Present meaning gift. Yeah.
I mean, this stuff gets really strange. A bass was painted on the head of the bass drum. Again, bass and bass spelled the same, two different meanings. When shot at, the dove dove into the bushes.
Very fast, too.
I'm sure. Well, we could go on with this. There are a few more, but I guess I'll save it for later.
Later?
I have the feeling we're boring. We're boring
I have a feeling
everyone.
this is the later already.
Well, no. So far, we're doing so good. Pretty good. It's a half hour, and we've already killed almost 30 minutes. I'll be happy if we kill another 30 minutes and then say good night.
Horror and trying to read some more of this. There's that airplane again that we're talking about. Pictures, but you can't see the pictures. But
that's all right. I'm sitting here and I can't see pictures.
Okay. Bear stuck in a rope. Wonder what that is.
Now, I wonder. I went to Weird News. You were telling me that you can click on something and get the whole article. I didn't see it.
Yeah, well, you have to just click on whatever the article is.
Well,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's go back to over here. If I can get back to it.
Well, the sad thing is, how many people read a newspaper anymore anyway?
Okay. So all you do is any of these, you just open it up, click on it. Dive bar beauty, Anna at Coyote Ugly. Okay.
She's pretty.
Yeah, I guess.
She's thin. She almost looks anorexic.
Yeah, I guess. The shiny shimmy of naked thigh, the thrust of curvaceous hip, the high kick and twist. This is not Olympic ice dancing, nor a stripper working the pole. The flash of cured blonde hair and lipstick smile appear, as does the bottle of rotgut tequila that is poured down your throat as a gag. Fall in love and try to cheer louder as the stunning Anna atop the Coyote Ugly bar yells, let's hear it for Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon and nowhere else. I don't know what they're talking about. It's going too far and it's too boring.
Well, I can always go back to a few more of these and then they explain something else. Here's something that most people who file for Social Security disability know about. The insurance was invalid for the invalid, okay? Or there was a row among the oarsmen about how to row. But moving on, as far as English being difficult, let's face it, English is a crazy language. There's no egg in eggplant. There's no ham in hamburger, and neither apple nor pine in pineapple. English muffins were never invented in England or France, and neither were French fries. Sweetmeats are candies. Sweetbreads aren't sweet, and they aren't meat. I almost hate to tell you what sweetbreads are. It's one of my favorites. I believe it's the pancreas. We take English for granted, but if we explore its paradoxes, we find that quicksand can work slowly, boxing rings are square, and the guinea pig is neither from Guinea nor a pig. And why is it that writers write, but fingers don't fing? Grocers don't gross, hammers don't ham. If the plural of tooth is teeth, why isn't the plural of booth beef? One goose, two geese. One moose, two meese. One index, two indices. Doesn't it seem crazy that you can make amends, but you not one amend? If you have a bunch of odds and ends and get rid of all of them but one, what do you call it? An odd or an end? If teachers taught, why don't preachers prod? If a vegetarian eats vegetables, does a humanitarian eat humans? Sometimes I think English speakers should be committed to an asylum for the verbally insane. And having taught English for 34 years, I can understand that. In what language do people recite at a play and play at a recital? Ship by truck, this is up your alley, Felix. Ship by truck, send cargo by ship. Have noses that run and feet that smell. How can a slim chance and a fat chance be the same thing, while a wise man and a wise guy are actually opposites? You have to marvel at the unique lunacy of the language in which your house can burn as it burns down, in which you fill out a form by filling out, an alarm goes off by going on. English was invented by people, not computers. It reflects the creativity of the human race, which, of course, is not a race at all. That's why when the stars come out, they are visible. But when the lights are out, they're invisible. There's more, but I think we've had enough of this.
Okay, let's go see if we got any callers in yet. It does not appear we have any callers, Mark. No callers.
They're abandoning us, Felix.
I know. Let's see what we got here. News of the weird. I can't even read this.
Well, instead of weird news, let's talk about some current events. According to former Defense Secretary Bob Gates, who happens to be a Republican, mind you, he seems to think that President Obama is doing everything that he should in addressing this whole Russian Crimea-Ukraine business. He seems to think that eventually the Crimea is going to be annexed by Russia because there are so many Russian-speaking and Russian-cultured people there, and it's so close to Russia. So some sort of an agreement which would annex Crimea with Russia in order to avoid some sort of a civil war with the rest of Ukraine. Now that's coming from a Republican. While
but most Republicans don't agree.
Well,
there's always one Republican.
Yeah, but here's a Republican who served a Republican president and a Democratic president, knew how to reach across the lines, doing the right thing and common ground, what's good for the country. Okay, but if you listen to some of these neocons in the Republican Party, Lindsey Graham, McCain, a bunch of others, they're all talking, you got to make a firm stand. Now, they don't say that they wouldn't send boots on the ground.
They did say that. McKay was interviewed today, and he said, you can't send troops in there.
I agree. Well, then what does he expect to do?
He
wants to have war games.
No, he doesn't want war. He's talking about there are a lot of sanctions you could put on the government that would hurt Russia.
Well, what does he think? These things have not been discussed by Obama?
But they're not being done.
Well, not yet. You know, the only thing you could do was sanctions, okay? I mean, let's face it. Bush sent us into Iraq.
Yeah.
They didn't threaten us. That was a sovereign nation. Now, if people are saying that Ukraine is a sovereign nation and Russia sent troops in, when Putin says, no, anybody could buy a Russian uniform. I mean, he must really think people are thick and dense, you know?
Yeah.
But still, that's the same thing we did in Iraq, in Syria, okay?
And we were condemned by Russia for all these things.
Yeah, but here we are, the shoe's on the other foot. We're condemning them.
Now we're condemning them, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, they condemned us. The thing is, do you know why there's a lot of Russians in the Ukraine?
Other than the fact that it's near the Russian border?
Because they were deported there or exported there.
Okay.
The same thing in there, George.
So, in other words,
They-
instead
they-
of going to Siberia?
Basically, they were put there. They're not originally from the Ukraine. They were all from Russia, put in there. I forget when, but they were put in there when it was part of Russia.
Well, maybe, 50, 60 years ago, and the people who are there now are the offspring, the children of those people who were originally, exiled to the Ukraine.
So that's that's the Russians, and they're saying, and any vote you want, you can always get 90% of the people if the vote is right. So, it's. Listen, it's far. Listen, the bottom line is, again, he needs that area for defense reasons. It's the only base that does not freeze
Right.
that Russia has. And there's no way they're going to give it up. And now they've got a chance to just take it over that whole area.
Well, what you may have Russian descendants living in the Ukraine may move to Crimea if the Crimea is going to be annexed again by Russia. This way, it's almost like coming back to the homeland. Their passports say Russian, they speak Russian, but they're living in Crimea.
I don't know if they're passports or what they are, but they speak Russian. I mean, and they were pushed in there by Russia. So, it's a game. Everything's. Putin doesn't give a hoot about you and I or what anybody thinks.
Oh, of course not.
He only cares about what his people think and that they support him, and his people love him.
I have news for you. The Republicans love him too. They wish that Obama could be more like him. Obama should ride a horse without a shirt on, Obama should go scuba diving.
Obama should get himself a pair of balls also. So what does that mean?
He just takes the diplomatic approach. That's all. And you know something? How do we know that in the long run the same results would not come to be? Well, Putin's throwing his weight around. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to have the great Russian Empire again.
Never happen. Never happen.
Well, he's slowly taking back parts of Russia. He's taking part
if you want to call somebody a thug and use the word properly, Putin is a thug. He's the old-fashioned KGB thug, okay? Almost the way Khrushchev was. Khrushchev was a boisterous and loud speaker. Khrushchev came to the UN banging his shoe on the podium, saying, "We will bury you." He predicted that Americans would wind up living under socialism. Didn't quite happen that way. Okay? And we all know that after Kennedy literally made a fool out of Khrushchev in the Cuban Missile Crisis, Khrushchev was put out on the farm somewhere, I mean, we don't even know really what happened to him except that somebody else took power.
Yeah. Now, what happened to they were supposed to put some missiles, defensive type missiles in Poland and a couple of other countries.
Who, Russia?
No, we did. We were supposed to put them in there.
When?
A few years back, and Obama pulled back the idea because...
Well, no, that's because of the non-proliferation treaty. They were doing away, Russia and the United States signed an agreement, and it wasn't under Obama. But
no, we're not talking about nuclear bombs or nuclear weapons.
Well, you talk about missile bases.
Yeah, no, missiles, defensive missiles. In other words, they're only made to knock down missiles if they're shot at them. They're not offensive.
In other words, just to shoot down aircraft.
If missiles are being sent at them...
Okay, so they intercept the missile and it explodes in midair.
Okay, that's what they were supposed to be done.
Well, but also, during...
Clinton said he didn't like the idea, so Obama backed out and he said, okay, we won't put him there. And by the way, your favorite friend, the woman who sees...
Palin. Russia from her house, yes.
She predicted that that Putin was going to take over that area of Ukraine during the last elections. And everybody said she was crazy.
I don't know. They have a picture of her reading Green Eggs and Ham to the children and comparing it to Obamacare. One of the comments that I made under the picture was, I guess that's one book she never read to her children, because at the end of the book, Sam tries Green Eggs and Ham and decides that he really likes it. So, in other words, give Obamacare a try before you knock it, which is what I tell you all the time, Felix. By the way, speaking of...
I have tried green eggs.
Speaking of Obamacare, you lost your original health care, correct?
Correct.
Could you go back to it, or it doesn't exist anymore?
It doesn't exist. Most of the plans that were closed down don't exist.
Okay.
Which is a shame, because I'll give you what Mary's from my wife's name, friend Janet. She has to do a colonoscopy. And she now has a $4,000 deductible.
Wow.
That her company, the company issued. And what the company did is they gave the companies till 1916 to abide by the laws of Obamacare.
1960?
16. 2016.
2016.
Yeah, they gave it to 2016. So the company went ahead and they got a worse plan. And under Obamacare, the colonoscopy would have been covered, I think. I'm not sure. But now it's going to cost her $4,000 out of her pocket before the insurance company does anything.
Well, in a way, you can't really blame him for that, because originally the Republicans were saying, aside from repealing it completely, they were saying that...
I'm not blaming anybody.
No, I didn't say you were.
What I'm saying was she got caught in a greedy company who says, I don't have to do this for 2 years. Let me find the cheapest plan I can get. And
I'm sure most of them have the cheapest plan that you could get, which really, means more of a deductible for the insured.
Actually, 4,000 is not bad. Obamacare has a $7,500 deductible.
Well, look, I still stand by my statement that the more people who enroll in Obamacare, the premiums will go down.
And
And if the premiums go down, then the deductibles would go down as well.
Well, but what's happening is the premiums for young people whose insurance used to be very expensive will now be a lot more expensive. There's no good answer to this.
The only one who wins in these things are the insurance companies all the time. You know that.
Always.
The little man always gets squeezed. Just like one of your sound effects. What would get squeezed on your sound effects, Felix?
I have no idea.
Take a wild guess. Which one? I can't read them, so you tell me.
Do I have anything like that?
Yeah, sure you do.
What is it?
The whoopee cushion gets squeezed.
Oh, I did that before.
I didn't hear it.
Well, because you can't hear.
You're right. No, that's not a whoopee cushion.
You're right.
Yeah, baby.
You and Austin Powers. God
Hey.
almighty.
Okay, we're gonna call somebody from our audience. How's that?
Are we allowed to do that?
Why not?
Do they know we're going to call them?
Nope.
Don't do it.
But they're trying to call here to say they can't get through.
Oh.
So
well,
I am going to call them.
Well, that's a different story.
Let's see
Can't
what
get
happens.
through. Maybe they want to Skype us. Not Skype. Blog, talk, whatever.
What I think.
Our. Oh well.
What I think. Dan, if you listen to the show, answer. This is not a collection call.
Yeah, that's not nice.
I'm kidding.
You know who calls me all the time? Those merchants that want to, you want a trip to Bermuda, I guess he lied. See that? He's not home.
He's home. He just texted me.
Maybe he's having problems with his phone.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe we should just sign off.
No.
Say goodnight.
Nah.
It's been almost 50 minutes. I mean, for us, that's pretty good, not having anybody call in and carrying this through.
Okay, let me send Dan a message here because he. Let's see. You got to talk while I'm trying to type.
No, if I talk, you're going to make a mistake. And I don't know what to say anymore. I've been doing most of the talking. I find the less I talk, I don't cough. And, of course, if I don't get riled up, I don't cough also.
Come on, Dan.
Okay.
All right. Here he is. We have a caller.
No, we called somebody.
No. Hello?
No, I'm returning. I saw two missed cell phone calls. But anyway, I tried 3 times. I couldn't.
You know what it is? I was looking at another screen probably, and I didn't notice it because it doesn't notify you the.
No, that's not true. Felix said that you never paid your cell phone bill.
I called. Dr. Don called and complained too. He called and they said no one's answering. We can hear you.
What, tonight?
But yeah, tonight Dr. Don called. I called myself 3 times. He called in.
Wow.
And I can hear you guys talk, but no one picked up the picked up the phone.
Yeah, we were looking at a website and reading those stupid stories. I think that was the problem.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
My father, Dr. Don, was laughing about your Mark, your those, I don't even call them allergies or That was funny, that stuff. We were laughing.
Oh, the
all these-
embarrassing moments of medical visits.
Oh, no, the English you were laughing.
Oh, the English language.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was so hysterical, Mark. You deserve a medal and a monument.
I
for that.
used.
That was
Let
hysterical.
me tell you how many times. I wish I had a hair on my head for every time in the 34 years that I used that lesson in talking to my students. You know, because it's really English happens to be the most difficult language to learn. You know, and I would tell my students that they shouldn't be embarrassed because you learn a rule in English, and then there are 5 pages of exceptions to the rule. It's enough to confuse a professor. When you learn a foreign language, and I'm sure that you, or especially your dad, who may speak more than one language, you know, when you learn rules in French and German and Italian, Spanish, you learn the rule and that's it. There are no exceptions. In German...
Oh, I love it. Dr. Don was listening, and we called in. I called him 3 times. He called in twice, and I think he called once at least, but he said, I can't get through. I said, I can't get through either. But it was funny, Dr. Mark. That was so funny.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. You know, in
Throw me
German...
a frickin' bone here.
Yeah,
Look, I'm surprised on your show.
Why don't you bone
as far as
yourself?
I like your topic and all, but as far as just...
You know,
you got my attention with the mysterious things and whatnot. I guess that's what the topic is, bizarre
yeah,
things.
Felix actually rescued me because I had a list and I left it home. And I knew I was leaving something home when I got into the car to come down here. You know, so he said to me, do you have your list with you? And I said, oh, shoot, I knew I forgot something, you know.
Well, as far as bizarre news, how do we lose a jet plane? I think 239 people.
That's
How
what
do
we're
you- how do
talking
you lose a
about.
plane like that?
There are a couple of
If I
rumors
missed
on
it, I'm
that.
sorry.
Twilight Zone had an episode like that. The Odyssey of Flight 33. Does anybody remember that?
Flight
it was-
33, no, but I might. If you tell me how
It was
I'll
global
remember.
Global Flight 33 from Chicago to New York. Okay, and they hit turbulence, and the plane picked up speed, and it went through a wormhole, and it wound up back in prehistoric times, and then they went back up and tried to attain the same speed, went through the same wormhole, and they came back in. It was New York, but it was New York in the 1939 World's Fair. Okay, and I believe the episode was in 1961. So the way they left the show was they're going to try to go through that turbulence again. But I mean, leave it to people like Richard Matheson and Rod Serling, you know, to come up with these fantastic stories. You know, it truly is.
Well, but then you were asking, there are a couple...
Mark, I'm going to tell you something. Hear this. Knock on that bottle. What a story.
Actually, the bottle is about 10 feet away. We need a long straw.
Well, you know what? You better get a long straw, reach for it. Jesus. I never heard of that story. I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, but one of the theories...
This flight's crazy hearing this. I mean... obviously a lot of people on board. How does a plane disappear this size?
Well, they're saying one of the theories is the plane was hijacked and they landed it somewhere, and now they're going to use it for a terror attack somewhere. Another one that you hear is the UFOs got a hold of it.
Well, I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't flying anywhere near Area 51 in Nevada.
Yeah, right, Mark. But, I don't know, guys. I like your topic, bizarre stories, and you guys didn't bring it up. That's why I'm calling in, because that's one of the bizarre stories I've ever heard.
And you know something? Until they find the plane, if they do, everything is going to be speculation. Nobody, like you said, nobody really knows what happened. So as long as there's no definitive proof, any story that remotely makes any sense at all is very possible.
Now, Dan, these aircrafts have what they call as emergency beacons, and the minute they crash or hit water, those beacons go off to give them the location. There were no beacons going off. Does that mean they never hit water?
Maybe maybe they found the lost continent of Atlantis.
Yeah, my father, maybe you guys know history more than I do. They said this happened not too long ago, but a while ago, a long time ago, a plane sunk, and they just was buried in the bottom of the ocean. I mean, a plane in...
I'm sure that happened during World War II, that a plane went down and, it just sunk.
Well, but with, like I said, with these beacons that they're supposed to have, and the black boxes that let off a signal, and no call, no emergency call.
Oh, Dan, speaking of black box, remember when we were talking about English being strange? You know what color the black box is?
Probably not black, I'm assuming.
It's orange. Because orange is a color that would stand out. But they call it a black box. Why do they call it a black box? I don't know. That's English.
It sounds sexual.
Well,
this is a strange. I like this. I mean, it's obviously a sad tragedy, but I don't. They said that last I heard, they saw the plane, turn, make a U-turn, like a turn, and then disappeared. I don't know.
Maybe the plane landed in Shangri-La.
I don't know. It's just amazing.
Robert Hilton's Shangri-La.
We don't know.
Hey, Dan, I want you to tell me who.
Yeah.
Who do you hear? Who's talking?
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's Austin Powers.
All right.
When you go to sleep tonight, I'm going to put headphones on you.
No,
and you're going to listen to Austin
nightmares.
Powers all night.
I'm going to have nightmares about it. No, you should see some of the other ones I didn't get a chance to download. Some good ones from The Godfather.
Oh, that's a good one. The funny thing is, it's a coffee club, and I don't even drink coffee at night. But I like joining talking to the coffee club.
Well, thank you.
But
we enjoy having you.
You guys have a great show tonight, because I liked Mark with the English language. You're right. They always say it is the hardest language to, for I guess now.
And foreigners have an easier time with English than native-born speakers do, really. I don't know why.
I love what you're saying. I think language is hard with you like that. I can't repeat what you said, but deciphering words that I can't even remember what you said, but those words are funny.
All those different words mean different things, like sound and sound.
Right. Interesting. It was very interesting hearing those. My father and I were laughing hearing what you're saying. It was true.
I'm going to present you with a present in the present.
I'm gonna see. Online there's something called parapedrogens.
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna have to remember to bring them in. It's you start a sentence and the ending to the sentence makes sense, but it almost has nothing to do with what you had in mind originally. Okay, so I think if you like that, then I think you'll like this. I'll write myself a note and I'll remember to bring it in on Friday.
I would love to read it, and I think it has to do with what you just did. Like, I'm sure you've seen those joke emails, like your sentence is all spelt wrong, but yet you can still read it. Everything's spelt wrong, but you know what it means. Doesn't matter. I love those emails. They just everything's spelt wrong, but it doesn't matter. You know what the person's writing. It's a joke email.
Oh, yeah? Well, what is it then?
The word is parapedrogens. P-A-R-A.
Parapedrogens. I'm not going to remember that.
No, P-A-R-A.
P-A-R-A.
P.
P.
So, but weird. I tried calling in, guys. I really did.
A,
and Dr.
D.
Don did too. I don't know what happened.
A D.
D.
I'm looking for
ROS. No, then all right, I have to go look it up when I get home.
Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. We're trying to just write it. You'll find out how it's spelled. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
So, Mark, about and Felix too, politics. I mean, Chris Christian looks like he's coming out of this thing. I don't know how, but
well, but he still
coming back on the,
he still trailed Ron Paul in that straw poll from CPAC. I mean, Ron Paul ran away. Rand Paul, sorry, Rand Paul. Rand Paul ran away with it with 31%. You know, what they were saying on the news today is that Rand Paul appeals more even than his father did, because his father had some wild ideas about going back to the gold standard, you know, and that Rand Paul is more of a modern-day libertarian, okay, and it appeals to more younger people. So what could I say?
Right. Yeah, no, I even, with his father, Rand Paul, I even donated $25 to his campaign. I just want to get, like, the Tea Party. I just want to get out of this stuff with Republicans and Democrats. I want to change, but I guess it's not going to happen yet. We're not ready for it. So
no, the Tea Party is going to. The Tea Party, unfortunately, is going to be around for a while, and you know.
Yeah, no, they are.
It may very well force, you know, the forming of a third party, an ultra-conservative party that will draw from basically the Republican Party, but they may get some disgruntled Democrats as well.
You know, what's his name? You know more than me. What's that candidate, presidential? Ross.
Ted Cruz?
No, Ross. Back in, I'm talking 80s, so Ross ran for presidency, but
okay.
First. Ross ran for...
Perot.
And, you know, Perot.
Ross Perot.
Thank you. Ross
You know, he
Perot.
graduated from Annapolis.
Huh. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But, you know, he had the right idea. I mean, no one wants to hear it, but we got to deal with it. I think it's not claim the fame thing, but he wanted to put 10 cents, I guess, on gas each gallon. I mean, but we're all against it. Everyone was like, you know, up in arms. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 10 cents a gallon they want to put on gas to help the deficit. But everyone,
well, you know,
no.
When you think about it, that's like what Felix said about Canadians and the VAT tax, VAT, where no matter what you buy, they add that tax on, and, you know, it's fair for everyone, whether it's a 10% tax, okay? Everybody pays the same 10%. If you spend a lot of money, so you pay more. But then you get everything for free. Well, everything. Your medical basically is for free.
I think I talked about it on that show, on one of your shows, or maybe twice, maybe, I think now. Right, the Canadians, we're not that sure to the right. Obviously, I think we're a better country than them, but sorry for Canadians that are listening to the show. You know, right, they're right. Just tax whatever. You do that. You pay 10%. Pay $1,000, okay, you pay a little more. Pay $10 sandwich, you pay a little less. Depends on what you buy, and then this will all be gone. But us as being capitalists, we don't believe in that. You know, it's Obamacare or Obamacare. You know, it's a good idea. I just think it was done the wrong way. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, as far as that goes, they're going to have another 2 years to play around with it, and hopefully they'll be able to get certain things straightened out. And in 2016, maybe just after, either before or after the election, I'm not sure, they'll have an easier time of getting it through, getting everyone's approval.
Unfortunately, not that Obama really did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything right either, but Mark, would you be okay with going to a gas pump and paying that gas guy says 10 cents a dollar extra for dollar extra of gas for health insurance? I mean, would you be okay with that? I mean, just asking a question. More a gallon. Right. Right.
Yeah.
We don't know. No one knows.
Well, you know, I would have to say yes, because one of the arguments that I have with my very good friend, who is also a retired teacher, is that he said he doesn't want to pay for people who don't have insurance. But he was talking about illegal immigrants, okay, the illegals who get everything for nothing. My feeling about that is that how can you in good conscience turn people away from getting medical care, you know? But, I mean, there are arguments on both sides. You know, some people say that when the illegals get here, the first thing they ask is, where is the social services office? And then they start registering for everything that they could get for free.
Well, this debate can go on and on. It's like, I don't know if Spitzer did it, or was it the other guy about illegal immigrants. They're all getting driver's license and they're not really legal in this country. I mean, who? But Clinton did that? Hillary?
What?
Or the Spitzer about trying to get people driver's licenses that don't, or IDs that they're not legal, but they give them an identification to be a United States citizen. I mean, a driver's license. I don't know who did that. Or,
when we were younger, okay, they didn't have that. But I remember when my kids were younger, one of the ways to have photo ID, a lot of places ask for photo ID. When you're underage, okay, you could get it through the Motor Vehicle Bureau. They issue you something. The problem is, it looks just like a license, but it's not a license.
Right. Exactly.
And it has your picture and date of birth on it.
Right. It looks like a driver's license, but it's not. But I'm not sure what the behind the scenes were about that. But Jesus, who did it? Was Schumer? I think Schumer did that.
I don't know, but when you think about it,
you
see, but when you think about it, I honestly believe that, you know, if somebody's going to take the driver's ed test, the written test, they should take it in English. Just like if you were in Mexico or if you were in France, you would have to know French to take a driving test in France. You'd have to know Spanish to take a driving test in Mexico. I think, you know, instead of pressing one for English, I think that anybody who lives here should be proficient in the language. You know, one of the first things...
I tell you,
that is very non-liberal from your view, Mark.
Yes, I know it's very non-liberal, but the bottom line is, if you go to Mexico, one of the first things you have to do is you have to learn Spanish.
Well, firstly, I don't know if that's true, and two, who in the hell wants to go to Mexico?
But not against you. Go with me on this one. You can, you know, Spanish people, I help them take the test.
Bless.
To be Americanized. And, you know, they ask questions like, you don't know this? But the funny thing is, the questions they ask, I don't even know them. Who's the, 24th President of the United States? But they can't even speak English to even say it.
Well, I have to honestly... I'm very proud to say that in one of the papers last year, they printed up, you know, the test for the immigration test to become a citizen. And thank goodness, with my background, I got them all right. They were not difficult questions, really. You know, they allow you to get, I think, 4 wrong.
Mark, for a school teacher, you better get 100.
Well, I did get 100.
For you got 4 wrong for a school teacher, that's horrible.
I said I did get 100, but they allow for a person to get 4 wrong.
Gotcha. I'm sorry.
I know how much you like Dr. Mark's story about his little operation that he had.
Oh.
I'm going to give you another one.
What little operation do I not know about?
An Arizona woman. Then listen to this. An Arizona woman was accused of trying to kill her hospitalized husband by injecting fecal matter into his IV line.
You know what I got to say about that? Holy shit.
Oh, God. I wonder if she used her own.
No, she'd probably try to
Oh.
use his. Make him choke on his own shit.
That's horrible. That's horrible. That's a bad. Let's change topics. That's a
Yeah,
bad
but
one.
yeah, well,
Oh, there's an article. Wait, there's an article in here about a vasectomy.
that went wrong.
No remark. Dan didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, he
Are you
doesn't-
still there?
Which one? I'm still here. I'm here.
Yeah, but the vasectomy that went wrong. Did you hear about that one?
I know I hear you. I know I
Yeah,
hear
they
the
called her
story.
a female.
Yes.
Flush the toilet. I know I hear the story.
All right. All right.
No. Where's the whoopee cushion?
Oh, no, you didn't bring that out.
Oh.
Yeah, bring out the whoopee cushion.
Oh, let me go sit.
You know what his problem is?
Down.
He downloaded so many things. There you go.
Can we go back to some serious stuff?
Okay.
I got I'm going to try to turn this topic around. A dear friend of mine, I'm talking about economy. So the economy's flying highest with the stock market, okay? We all see it going up, bump, bump, up. I think it's a false thing. My friend with TD Bank for 10 years, they just cut him loose. They told him the economy's doing bad and that to make cuts.
Wait,
he's a supervisor, not teller.
Okay, he was
Supervisor
working.
told him the other day, and they told him that make cuts. They're slow. They cut him loose. They fired him. Now, wait, guys. Let me say this quickly before you interject. They cut him loose, and they said, "Look, we can't let you go anymore. We can't pay you anymore." It's 10 years. Over 10 years he's been there with the bank. He grew with them. So now they told him they really, I'm sorry, effed him over. So 10 years being there, he grew up to supervisor position, giving loans out, commercial and residential. And so now what happened was they said, yeah, go on unemployment. So he tried. So they offered to come back to be, after all these years, well, we'll give you $29,000 a year to be a bank teller. He said, what? No. I'm not doing $29,000 a year to be a bank teller.
That's good pay for bank teller.
Sadly, believe it or not, I know the bank people get paid, but he was only getting $56,000 a year.
Bank tellers really don't get any more than minimum wage. You know, if it's $7.25, so maybe they get $8.10 or $8.25.
And Mark, I'm not talking about years ago. I'm talking about last week. So they demoted him from being a supervisor to making $56,000 a year, which he was happy with. He's single, life is great. Then they let him go, unless you want to be a bank teller. And he's like, what? He's college educated, $29,000 a year.
Yeah, but
And
you know
what?
some Dan, think about this. He's single, right? It's
Right.
just him. So he's asked to
I
take.
know, but he got a new apartment in Brooklyn. I mean, obviously, we all know our bills and car payments and whatnot. So he refused it. So what did they do? TD Bank, they cut his unemployment. They refused it because he quit his job. He did quit his job. He got demoted. So they were smart.
No, but he
they
did because
demoted
they offered him a position which he did not take. So in their eyes,
Right.
and as far as the government is concerned, he quit.
Right, exactly
So-
right.
so
That's
you-
why
so if
he
you-
didn't tell me.
All right, so let's take another analogy. You're you're district manager of 45 McDonald's. They want to lay you off, but they don't want to pay you unemployment. So they say, okay, we're going to offer you a job as a hamburger flipper for $7.95 an hour.
Oh, look,
What would
I'm
happen?
I'm not bringing up it. This just came up the other day, and he's distraught. He worked for, I mean, TD Bank's huge. You don't know that. And, he just said put 10 years into this company, and they just, now they just cut my,
Yeah, but
started unemployment.
TD Bank is not a commercial bank, okay? It's just a savings bank, all right? They can't loan money to businesses. There are certain things that they can't do that Chase can do or one of the bigger banks can do, okay? So...
Well, maybe you're right, Mark. I really don't know that what you're saying. I mean, I'll have to ask him. But he was supervisor of giving loans out, residential, commercial. So he was in charge of that. But then they just said business is slow, and they cut him off after 10 years. So he said I got screwed by the banks.
And you know what they?
My bigger question is to you guys is why is the economy flying so high? If TD Banks are laying off people, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Because the only thing flying high is Wall Street. Like I said before,
Wall Street, right.
Felix's cousin is doing very well because he had the money to invest when the market was at 7,000. The market is now over 15,000. So he's more than doubled his money in the 5 or 6 years that Obama has been president, okay? But the Wall Street money does not trickle down to Main Street. It stays on Wall Street. So guys like me, Felix, we don't stand a chance.
I like Ronald Reagan. I mean, I do like his his system was trickled down, but it didn't happen. It never trickled down.
It was an interesting concept that never worked. To this day, people are still asking, what's trickle-down economy? That's like George Bush saying he wanted to be a compassionate conservative. What in the world is a compassionate conservative?
I have no idea. Please explain it to me.
I have no idea either. And you know something? I don't think Bush knows either. It was a term that he threw around when he was running in 2000 against Al Gore, and he said he is going to be a compassionate conservative.
So
he won.
I see.
You're right, he won.
Look, Mark, help me out here because, Reaganomics, everyone liked that trickle down, theory. To make the rich and it'll trickle down everyone else. It did not happen. But now we're saying just take the money from the rich and put it down to the poor. So it's like vice versa. It's so weird how this is. I mean.
No, think of it this way. Originally, they were saying, if you don't tax the upper 1%, these are the job creators. Okay, where are the jobs?
Exactly.
Where are the jobs that they are creating? There are none. Okay, they're getting to keep their money, and there are no jobs.
God, what do you think about about jobs? What do you think about, Obama trying? Our states have not, endorse his theory of the minimum wage. But you do minimum wage, okay, Obama, thank you very much. But unemployment, $10, whatever it is, that's a minimum wage. Now he wants to increase it to $10 and change. Okay, fine, that's good minimum wage. But you know what? It's just going to pass down to everybody else. There's no more Happy Meals. There's no more dollar menus on McDonald's. Felix, what do you think about that minimum wage of $10?
It's very simple. If you give it, somebody else has to take it. If you take it, somebody has to give it. There's no free rides.
I agree.
So
it's a battle that. Of course, who's going to go against how people get paid more money? Of course, but there's a price to pay for that.
Listen,
and that's the problem.
They've been trying to expand unemployment for months. Okay, every time they bring it up for a vote, it's defeated. What purpose does it serve to have a member of Congress earning $174,000 a year? Plus perks, and they refuse to extend unemployment for people who have already exhausted their 99 weeks or whatever it is that they're entitled to. So now these people have nothing. And if they do increase it, you have, and I'm not saying it doesn't work the other way, but especially now, Republican senators and Republican congressmen, because bills originate in the Congress. Republican congressmen want to attach certain stipulations to that bill that would benefit their constituents where they live, having nothing to do with unemployment. Okay? Like keeping certain bases open. Okay? Subsidizing corn in Iowa or something to that effect, or subsidizing farmers. What does that have to do with increasing somebody's, or continuing with somebody's unemployment? But this is what they do.
Dr. Mark, look, it's again, I think I said before on your show, it's a melting pot, and it's hard to explain, as you all know. It's just hard to explain it because it's just hard to figure it out. I'm basically trying to say, we have all these news stories, and it's just hard to figure out how to fix the problem. I don't know if there's an answer there.
Unfortunately, the little man, mainly you and I, always get screwed in the end. That's what it is.
Well, that's because the rich are controlling the money, and that's what Wall Street's going through, and we're paying for. That's basically what it is, and it's sad to see. But I do still agree that we are the best country in the world. But at the same time, we have our little issues. And I say little issues, big issues. We got to try to figure out. So,
agreed.
But, we definitely are the best country in the world. But we have this. I mean, I can't believe what's going on with that guy, the athlete, Pistorius. I mean, we got a screw-up system. This guy, their country, South Africa, this guy's shooting his girlfriend 4 times or 5 times. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, this wouldn't happen in America like that.
It doesn't. Things like that.
Are you kidding?
It happens more in America.
I know, but you know what? They can't put
Stand your ground.
Right, exactly. I don't know.
Oh, by the way, stand your ground. I noticed a picture of George Zimmerman at a gun show in Orlando signing autographs. My comment
right.
to that was, only in America can you take a known murderer and turn him into a hero, okay? Which is basically what they did.
Firstly, he's not a convicted murderer.
I didn't say convicted. I said a known murderer.
He's not a murderer.
Well, that's a matter of the jury's opinion, but let's face it. Just like O.J. Simpson was a murderer. Everybody knew that, too. This is what we discussed on Friday.
I know, but
we had the same thing.
He's the same thing as Pistorius. He's obviously loved and he's a great figure, and he just already threw up in court, I think. In the courtroom, he threw up. So, he's like
he
OJ.
probably took drugs before.
OJ was loved, and
Ipecac.
everyone loved O.J. Simpson, and everyone loved this guy Pistorius. He became a good figure for people who are handicapped. But now we hear this gun stuff and O.J. this gun stuff, and I mean, it's sad. But we still are the greatest. We have the greatest court system. Much as I don't like it or what I hear, but we have the best one. Unfortunately, I hate to say that on that note before I let you guys go.
Well, and justice isn't always blind.
No, but in a way,
it's corrupt. Mark, it's corrupt.
I think lately, Lady Justice is starting to wear glasses.
Well,
I see it. That goes to the Tea Party. People are tired of this nonsense, of this stupidity. But I don't think Tea Party is going to help us out at all, the system out at all. I really don't.
You like the Tea Party?
We still live in the great. What's that?
Do you like the Tea Party?
With the Wall Street movement, I was actually I almost went down there, but I didn't. The Wall Street movement.
No, you're confusing the Tea Party with
Wall Street.
with Wall Street. They're two separate, entirely separate things.
Well, maybe you're right, Mark. You know what? Tea Party,
Occupy Wall
or
Street
the-
are a bunch of
it's two different
progressives
things, right, but
who are fighting and arguing against the big banks and the Wall Street companies that are making millions of dollars and raking in golden parachutes while
Right.
people basically have nothing.
Well, Mark, tell me if I'm wrong. What do you think about this whole Wall Street, Wall Street scandal? Everyone's making millions. The only person who got burnt was Bernie Madoff. I mean, he just played the game, and everyone made millions of dollars off him. But I'm not saying he did what was right, but he knew the game, he knew how to play it. But he's the one who was put on the crucifix.
Only because somebody ratted him out. That's all. Otherwise, he'd still be doing it.
Right,
somebody had to make an anonymous phone call to Treasury in order for him to get caught.
I know, but no one went to. It's white collar crime. All these people, the banks, all the walls, the bad loans, and nobody went to jail but him.
You expect the banks to go to jail? The big shots,
right.
the CEOs. They have the best. They have the best lawyers.
Well, that's what's called politics. They get the money, they get the power,
And they look for loopholes, and that's how they get out of it.
Look, whatever Bernie Madoff did, I'm obviously it was a scam, but at the same time, why did he suffer for everyone made money off of him? Everybody.
Like I said,
The banks-
somebody made a phone call, and he got caught. That's all.
And a lot of people lost money because of him.
Well,
More than
the people
that
who lost money, and I said this before, they're foolish and stupid because he was paying, and I'm making up a figure right now, but he was paying 20% on your investment when the market was going down. How is that possible? How can you possibly make money all the time when the market is going down? Nobody questioned it, okay? But finally, when he was caught, people like Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon, who I admire greatly, okay, lost $6 million. And they're not the only ones. They're still young enough where they can recoup some of the money through acting, because they command larger salaries when it comes to television programs, etc. But for the ordinary person,
there were no ordinary people that
Bernie
invested with him.
Bernie Madoff, I felt bad. I felt bad for Lehman Brothers. I forgot his name.
That's what I mean.
But
The
listen,
owner of Lehman Brothers say, "Why am I singled out in this when they shut him down?"
I
Lehman
told you,
Brothers said, "Why?"
because somebody ratted him out. Somebody made a phone call.
No, not Bernie Madoff. Lehman Brothers. He was one of those banks that went down before they shut him down.
Didn't they closed Lehman Brothers?
yeah.
Right, they closed them down.
That was the only one that
Started
closed.
this-
Did Bear Stearns close?
I don't know.
I don't know.
think I don't know. Lehman Brothers was the big one that I remember that they shut them down. The government shut them down.
And by
people carrying
but by
their
the same
boxes.
token, the government, economists are saying, everybody complains about AIG, but AIG paid back 108% on the investment. So they paid back the money plus
Almost
8% more.
Almost all the companies paid back.
Yeah, they've all been paid back. What would have happened if he didn't?
Even like Ford Motor Companies, but you know what?
Ford
I'm
didn't
sorry,
ask
guys,
for
I don't
money.
feel any effect-
Ford is the only
I don't
auto
feel-
company who didn't ask for any kind of bailout. They did it all themselves.
Because they didn't want to have to play by the
we call
rules
that
that
social note.
you were
We call it the
bound.
deal behind the deal. Something funny happened with this damn bank stuff.
Well, you'll never
You
know
know,
the
where the
truth, so what's the
lobbyists-
difference?
What's the difference? Right. What's the difference?
We'll never know the difference. We'll never know the truth. It is what it is.
Again. Felix, I hate that statement, but I understand it. Felix should know it. The deal behind the deal. You know, you don't understand it. It is what it is, and that sucks. But you don't. No one has time to understand what happened. The deal behind the deal. Everyone just moves forward. Life is fine, and move on.
Yeah, well,
You know.
that's life. And by the way, just to make it clear, with Bernie, very few poor people got involved. It was mostly rich, greedy people.
Right.
And because they were
You're
greedy,
right. You're right.
because they were greedy,
Yes, you're right, Josh, you're right.
yeah, they closed their eyes and they said, "I don't give a shit. He's giving 20%. I don't care how."
You're right. They don't care. That's greed conquers all. As the movie Wall Street, greed conquers all.
I
They
have
don't care
a.
what they kind of know, but you know they're getting the 20% back on the returns, the 25% back on returns. I don't know. It's just Bernie Madoff was. I just feel. I don't say feel bad for me. He really screwed a lot of people over, but the people he screwed over knew what was a scam, and they don't care.
No,
If
I
you're
really
trying to
don't
get back
think.
my money, great.
I really don't think that they knew, and if they were questioning it, they certainly didn't say anything as long as the money was rolling in.
Exactly. They didn't
Right.
want to
As
know.
long as money's rolling in, they don't say anything about it. Now, the question is, I feel bad for the people who, whatever, just say $200,000, $300,000 they invested in him, and they lost it, and that's what hurts. I don't care about Kevin Bacon, and he's rich, he can roll and do well anyway, but it was a pyramid. It was just a basic pyramid scam.
But what I'm saying,
But he
Dan,
just
there weren't that many.
I know it showed.
There were not that many people who were poor that lost money, even though there were some foundations that lost money. And you know,
I just.
Well, when you talk about trickle-down economics, the little man on the
This is one of them.
street, lost his house, lost his job.
Right.
Okay, that's what trickled down. You know.
And meanwhile, someone's buying a new boat, new yacht.
it's never going to change.
You know,
No, you're right.
Trickle down sounds good. Trickle down economics. It really, I learned all about it. It's supposed to work, but unfortunately, greed conquered all, and the rich just kept the money to themselves. It did not trickle down. So
There's
now Obama's trying to
there's
come
also
back.
trickle up economy.
Well, that's what Obama's trying to do. Trickle up.
What's that? Hold on a second.
Take the like kind of like Robin Hood. No different. Robin Hood just steal from the rich and give it to the poor. That's what's going on now
So
with
say it.
Obama.
No.
Mark is a
No.
What do you mean, no?
No. I may have relatives listening to this, so no.
there's nothing really wrong with it.
My
All right, maybe
daughter.
we'll end the conversation. I guess went overboard here tonight, but it's good. I always love talking to you guys.
Well, I wish the
I'm
I don't know
glad.
what happened to the phone system. Dr. Don tried calling in, and he
I
had no success. So
was he on hold with us and hearing the show?
yeah,
Then he should
he was on
hold
hold.
till we can pick him up. You
I
don't
know,
hang
but,
up.
Unfortunately, it didn't. You guys
No, it's his bedtime.
tried saying hello. Yeah, just I understand.
You
No, I
don't-
was just saying. He called and I called, and you know, we heard you talking. Dr. Don and I were both on a conference call, and you guys didn't pick up.
Well, you should have just hung on. And listen to the show.
Anyway, I'm just telling you, look, just technical problems. He called.
That's not a technical.
That's all right. Don't worry.
When you call
I'm
the
not.
number, if you hear the recording that you want to speak to the host and you say yes,
Yes.
it doesn't
but then you
mean
guys
you're
talk.
on automatically. You have to
Right.
hold.
We hear you.
Well, usually they say press
Dr.
one.
Don and I heard you talk. We heard
You know.
you guys talking,
Yeah, of
and
course.
we're like,
And
hello. He's
yeah.
saying hello.
it
but
doesn't
nothing
help
picked
any
up.
because we didn't accept your call yet.
No, what Felix is saying, and I remember, we had something in front of the screen where we were reading these articles, so we really didn't see any phones lit up. And that was a problem. If we didn't have the articles in the front, we might have seen, we have a caller, somebody calling up. It doesn't ring,
Oh,
okay? It doesn't ring like a regular phone.
It just comes up
Oh,
and
all right.
it has a phone number.
Okay, I'm just.
So that's why, we just say, hold
You guys
on.
what happened? I mean, he tried.
All right, listen, I'm
Dr.
making
Don tried. I tried it.
Dan, I'm making a prediction. I see Harold's
Tell
in
me.
our future.
I see it. Felix, how about this weekend? I'm hungry.
I see Harold's this weekend, actually.
Oh, let's see what happens.
Oh, my God.
Let's see what happens.
Felix, Mark, I'm going to rub it in. That food's so damn good. Jesus. Christmas. All
Well-
of us have to bring $5 each. That's it. We'll live like kings.
Hey, Mark, if you don't go, I can still go.
Yes, I know, but I'll never let
you know
you.
what, guys, why
I'll
don't
never
you-
forgive you if you do.
Then you better come with me.
Yeah.
Hey, guys,
really.
why don't you- Guys, you know what? Why don't you broadcast from Harold's?
No. First of all, Felix thought of that a long time ago. Number one, there are. It's a commercial establishment. I don't think we could do it.
They wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, but we really don't have the listening power. I mean,
Oh.
people will think it's actually, like a big radio station. You show up, rent a
You know what
van,
it is?
and
It
put
just boosts
put
your-
Blog Talk
your-
Radio on
your-
it, and then we show up with a microphone. I mean, people are going to
Well,
think.
what you do is look. You're getting ahead of yourselves. But if you were to go in there, talk to the manager, owner, whatever.
Well,
say,
you
"Look,
have
I'm
to."
a radio show, and you go in there. Look, we're going to set up and we're going to promote your show and chomp. Then maybe get free food. Maybe also get free food.
I was
Go in there,
just going to
talk
say,
the radio
Dan,
manager, help you out.
I don't want money. Let them give us a doggy bag to take home, free food
Right.
while we're there,
Right.
and then give us a big doggy bag to take home anything we want.
You guys got it
I
all
bet
so wrong.
you. I mean, look, I'll help you out. But I bet
What,
you're
we're
right. You
wrong?
don't want money. You just
What
want
should
free
we?
food.
Felix said we're wrong. Wait a second. Let him explain this.
To do a broadcast from Harold's, all you have to do is take your iPhone, put it down, it'll pick up everybody talking and broadcast. Nobody-
Okay, well, Felix, that's live broadcasting. I'm
Exactly.
telling you,
Yeah, but
call
except
them up,
if
call
somebody-
them up.
If somebody
And
questions,
you
let's say
could
the
say
waiter
old
comes
manager,
over.
Look, we're going to talk. We're saying live broadcast from Harold, New York Deli. It's great. We're in Jersey. What do you have to say? Then probably free lunch.
Well, I know he probably wouldn't say anything because it's free advertising for him.
right.
No, but if
anyway,
you have your
free or not, I don't
iPhone,
care.
that's how people broadcast. A lot of people broadcast that way.
I'd rather settle for
Yeah,
the
they're
free
right.
food. I want to make a deal.
Mark, I want to go so badly.
All
I
right,
know.
What's wrong with Saturday?
What Saturday? Let me see. Saturday was the 8th. That's the 15th.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saturday, right. 15th. You know what the 15th is?
No,
You don't know?
no.
What is it?
You don't know your
What is it?
Shakespeare. 15th is the Ides of
don't.
March.
What does that got to do with
Eyes of
Harold's?
March. Gotcha. You're right.
It's March 15th.
What does that got to do with Harold's?
Eyes
though?
of March. You're right.
That's when Caesar was assassinated. Caesar went to the Senate. His wife had a dream and told him, don't go. And he said, I have to go. And that's when all those senators stabbed him and killed him. And the last one was
Right.
Brutus. And then he says, et tu, Brute, and you? Because Brutus was his protege. And then Mark Antony makes a beautiful speech praising all the senators, saying, but they're all honorable men. They made all these claims about, I'm giving you an English lesson. I better shut up.
But what does that
Mark,
have to do
you-
with
you
going
know
to
what,
Harold's
I
on the
was
15th?
Slightly gonna say
Nothing
that.
except that you said March 15th, so I said that's the Ides of March.
Do you want to go on March
I know that,
15th?
Mark.
You want me to call it the
Mark,
Ides
I
of
think you were a
Harold?
school teacher for too long.
Yeah. Do you want to go?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Did you hear that? He said the
Well, who's
15th.
paying?
Saturday
paying
sounds
for it?
good.
I said, who's paying for it?
Well, you don't expect
Oh.
Felix to pick up the tab.
I hear silence on the phone. I hear crickets.
Well, I look at it this way.
Since we don't make any money on this show, the bottom line is I think we're all responsible for paying our
Ourselves.
fair share.
But, have...
Mark, I like that, but I think you should pay.
either way, we're okay with the
Hey, it'll be
15th.
both
See if you can convince Dr.
So, Mark,
Don.
Eyes of March. Look, that sounds great.
I bet you
don't know
Dr.
about
Don knows
taking
what
up
the
on-
Ides of March are.
Oh, yeah.
Ask Dr.
He-
Don what the Ides of March are.
If I can find him, sure. But
And you know what
No,
yesterday
no, no,
was?
that-
Yesterday was the Nones of March. March 9th
don't
is
know
the
that.
Nones of March. See, I'm giving you all these
I
lessons.
don't know what you're talking about. I
Dan,
don't know what you're talking about. I swear. I
doesn't
don't.
matter. Only thing you have to hear.
Doesn't matter. Let's think about Harold's.
Harold's is calling.
What's funny is,
Harold's
Mark, what's
next
funny is-
Saturday.
I got shotgun. Just want to
Mark,
let
what's funny
no.
is that I told
I'll
Felix
tell you,
that
I
I'm
have
afraid to go
shotgun
there.
unless Dr. Don comes and he can sit in the front so he could be comfortable.
Yes.
He's the coolest person. Hung out with him many times.
Okay, so
what
let's.
I told Felix was that I'm so afraid to go to Harold's because I told just Felix the other day.
We're not
I
going
wanna
off-roading.
Get the roast beef. No. I'm not going to go with that anymore. I'm going to throw him in. I'm going to kick him out of the car if I go off-roading with him. But no. The food-wise with Harold's is I don't know what to get because I get the corned beef and pastrami, which is so
Well,
good.
first of all,
I get it every time I go.
let's
I want to
first
try something else.
let's first say we're going on Saturday, and a tough decision like that should be made with the menu in front of us.
No.
Listen, there's going to be with your father or with Dr. Don, I should say. There'll be 4 people dining. We can get one small sandwich, and then we're going to be forced to order something else so we can try.
Well, you'll have
something new.
to, yeah.
Well, Dr. Mark, we got to kind of put our foot down on Felix because he might trap us and take us off-roading for a little bit.
No, I think
So, we have
Felix basically learned his lesson, especially after the rain.
No, it's not that.
But I tell you where we might
I
go.
can't. We have to use somebody
We'll go-
else's car. I can't
No,
go.
we'll go to that flea market.
Yeah, no.
You like to go because you
Oh,
like to
yeah,
get certain
well,
things.
Yeah. Oh,
So we'll do that flea market, and then we'll go to
that's-
Harold's.
but-
yeah. Hey, Dan, how
Phil,
about
what's it
that
called again?
breakfast we have there?
Oh, but
I
wait,
know. Felix,
we
what's that
shouldn't
market-
go to
What's that
Wawa's.
market called again?
It's
yeah.
called, I forgot. But listen,
I know some market. Oh, jeez.
yeah, it's the Amish market. I don't know what it's called.
Well, we really shouldn't.
Yeah,
You
but-
know,
Columbia,
I know,
it's
but
a Columbia
called some
market.
But anyway, we know what
It's
called.
Columbia,
I think we
Dan.
should get-
and we really shouldn't go to Wawa's because then it's going to kill our appetite. for
No.
Harold's.
The Columbia, Dan, remember? It's called Columbia.
Oh, that's the Columbus market. That's what it's called. Columbus market.
Okay, so
So the problem is if we're not going off-roading, because I don't want you to kill me again.
yeah.
Dr. Mark, if you're a doctor, I don't know if Felix told you, we sunk his car in the mud and water. I still have no sensations in my legs, knee below, because of the frigid water. I
Wow.
got frostbite and hypothermia. So Felix almost killed me. So I
tried.
I think we should go to the pharmacy. Oh, Felix, here's a funny story. This is too funny, Felix.
Felix must have been talking to your
I'm not
ex-wife. I guess that's why.
Felix, I went down to I'm sorry, guys. I like to get my not manicure, pedicure. So the Chinese girl was massaging my feet. I felt nothing, Felix. I felt nothing because my feet are still.
I didn't know
forked
men get a
from my left
pedicure.
Oh,
Who
you
looks
gotta
at your
do it.
toes? Who looks at your toes?
What's
A
that?
manicure I could see, but a pedicure.
Pedicure, they massage your feet.
Oh no! You kidding me, Mark? You never got one?
No,
I told
never.
My father. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! You missed out on life.
You know, when my
you missed
father
out.
was in the live poultry market, once a month, I remember, because I used to go with him every now and then. He used to go to what was called the Butcher's Co-op. There was he used to get a haircut, and he used to get a manicure because his fingers would always crack, in the cold weather.
Okay.
And they used to do great jobs on his fingers, I remember. Little
Well,
did I know that when I started teaching, my first job would be in the very junior high school that they built where that used to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But
wait a minute. I'm not talking about manicure. That's what the guys getting their nails done. And the pedicure is the feet. Now, here's
No, I know.
I'm going to blast you now. Felix, I'm going to blast you now. And Mark, listen to this. Because he numbed me. He sunk his car. And him and I were trying to get his car out. I actually got frostbite, hypothermia. I have no nerves in my legs, below my knees. So
Well, you're upset with Dan. You're upset with him because you just couldn't enjoy the sexual charge of having your feet massaged when you were having a pedicure.
Sexual charge, great. Okay, but look, get this. I just got my feet done, the pedicure, and here now I'm on the radio, but this is how bad it was. To do my nails, the clipping, the Chinese lady massage, I felt nothing. Thanks, Felix. I felt nothing. And then she told me, the Chinese girl, in her language I couldn't understand, that I had an ingrown toenail. And those things hurt. I didn't feel it.
Consider yourself lucky.
So, no, it was really gross. She cut my nails on... I'm not going to show it. But, yeah, stuff came out of my toe. I didn't feel it. Nothing. So I got the ingrown toenail clipped. I didn't feel it because I don't feel it. I have nothing in my... I can't feel anything. To save Felix's Ford Explorer.
Well,
Thanks, Felix. You know, that's where we're
It could have been worse. It could have been me.
From the waist down.
I wish it was you.
You know, I just said to Dan. I just said to Felix. Dan, I just said to Felix.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. You could have been submerged from the waist down. If you get my drift.
That would have been really bad.
Yeah.
You know, Felix, it was a quite experience. I tell you, I'm not being. I mean, I got to get my nerves back in my legs.
No,
but,
well, we discussed that.
It was a quite experience, I tell you. I wasn't afraid of anything. Feel like somebody dragged me down in the mud and he almost
Yeah,
fell.
well, I fell
so
in
bad.
completely.
I know. You almost dragged me down in the
I know.
mud. But it's fun. Good experience. Unfortunately, I wish I had my sensation back in
Well,
my legs.
you know, I'm sure once you finally make that appointment with the doctor, maybe they'll be able to help you out. And
Yeah, they said acupuncture and stuff. Acupuncture, they said, was probably the best way to do this.
maybe,
But anyway,
I heard if you get a vasectomy, you get your feeling back.
I don't think he heard you.
I know.
Felix was saying.
I didn't hear you.
You heard?
I heard the laugh in the background pretty much.
No, you didn't. You want to repeat?
I don't think you did.
Go ahead.
No, Felix said.
No, what I'm saying is, I don't think you don't want to ruin Harold.
No.
Because I know how much country we.
He doesn't want to think of Harold
I love it.
as far as inflicting any pain. I can
Yeah,
understand
I don't
that.
blame him.
I can understand that.
No. Look, I'm a big boy. Harold.
And you-
I think I
and-
always want to Harold.
No, you're not. You're a wuss.
You know, also, I
Oh,
think
come on, guys.
knowing you where your parents like to shop, your father is going to love that place,
All right, so
right?
Anyway, I have to cut this short. You know, I'm limiting myself. I don't want to be out too late. So I'm still recuperating. It's a bronchial condition with a postnasal drip.
Well, at least it's not pneumonia.
That's true.
Network problem.
Oh, we're going to be cut off soon?
Hello? You there, Dan?
No, we were cut off.
Well, he may still be on.
Well, his mic is lit. Until he hangs up, we don't know.
The people on Spreaker, we had a failure.
The menu has recently changed. Please listen carefully to the new prompts before making your selection.
It appears that the host has already dialed into this show. Only one host is allowed per show.
And he
Thank
hung
you
up.
for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Yeah, they cut us off. They did that. They did that last time too.
Yeah.
We had a few minutes left, and they cut you
We
off.
got a lot more than a few more
No,
minutes.
you have 10 minutes. You should have had 9-10 minutes.
Well, the showing was still on the air.
Oh, it's counting down.
Yeah.
It's just you and me. Well, I have nothing further to say to you, Felix.
Neither do I.
Okay, so why don't we just say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Have a
Wait.
good evening.
Wait.
Forget about the dogs. I don't want to feed them anyway.
How could you say that?
Because
How
when
could
I'm
you-
not here, you don't feed them.
They don't look like they're barking
didn't work.
anyway.
I think they're hoarse.
Yeah, I think they lost their voice.
They lost their voice, exactly.
They're so hungry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those who could still hear us, have a good night. Thank you for listening.
And good evening.
Good evening.